Hello and welcome to your everyday yoga flow. We'll go ahead and get started in child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch and your knees as wide as comfortable. Walk your fingertips out long in front of you and bring your forehead to rest down on your mat. Begin to tune into your breath here and noticing any physical sensations that are going on in your body. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, walk your hands over towards your right side, placing your left palm on top of your right, feeling this big side body stretch through your left side. On an inhale, begin to walk your hands back through center, child's pose. Exhale, walk your hands over towards the left side, placing your right palm on top of your left this time, feeling the stretch through your right side body. Inhale, begin to walk your hands back through center, child's pose. Exhale, coming into tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees, and find a gentle sway side to side with your hips. When you're ready, come to find stillness in your tabletop. As you inhale, cow pose, drop your belly, lift your gaze, shine your heart forward. Exhale, cat, dome through your back, send your navel to your spine, gaze at your belly button. Inhale, cow, drop your belly. Exhale, cat, dome through your back. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Synchronizing breath to movement here and feeling out any other movements that may be calling to you today. Take 2 more rounds moving with your breath. When you're ready, come to find a neutral spine and extend your right leg out long behind you, coming up high on the ball mount of your right foot. Finding a calf stretch here, begin to find small movements forward and back, kicking your heel towards the back of your mat. Begin to lift that right foot up off of the earth and then extend your right foot over towards the right side, coming off of the mat. Try to ground the sole of your right foot down towards the earth. Really push your palms into the earth, just finding some small movements forward and back here. And then option 2, begin to melt your hips back towards your heels for a child's pose variation. Option to keep those back toes tucked under. Begin to stretch your arms out long in front of you and begin to rest your forehead down towards your mat. If this stretch is too intense for you today, no worries. Just begin to find that neutral spine again. Begin to lift your hips up off of your heel, bringing your shoulders over your wrist again. Extend that right leg behind you and then draw that right knee back in to meet your left. We'll switch sides. Extend that left leg long behind you, coming onto the ball mount of your left foot, and begin to kick that left heel towards the back of your mat, finding that calf stretch. Finding those small movements forward and back. Begin to lift your left leg up and then extend that left foot over towards your left side, coming off of the mat. Try to ground the sole of your left foot down onto the earth. And begin to find those small movements forward and back, rocking through your spine. Option to just stay here in your neutral spine, or option to begin to melt your hips back towards your heels, finding a child's pose variation. Walk your fingertips out long in front of you and bring your forehead to rest down towards the earth. Continue to stay with your breath and imagine that you are breathing space into that left inner thigh. Begin to push into your palms and come back to that neutral spine Extend your left leg out long behind you and then bring that left knee in to meet your right. Shimmy your hips left and right to reset your spine. And then begin to tuck your back toes under and walk your hands out a little bit further in front of you. Send your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Keep your knees as bent as needed here. Firmly push your palms down into the earth and melt your belly towards the tops of your thighs to lift your tailbone up. And begin to find movements that may be calling to you here. Option 2, walk out your dog, pedal your feet, bending into one knee as you straighten through the other leg. Just finding organic movements that feel good for you and your body today. When you're ready, begin to roll your spine forward into plank. So stacking your shoulders over your wrists here, and then begin to bend into your knees as you send your hips back up into downward facing dog. Find this one more time. Wave your body forward to plank and then bend into your knees. Send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now coming back into your downward facing dog, take your gaze forward to your hands and then begin to walk your feet forward to meet your hands, coming into a ragdoll pose. So keeping your feet about hip width distance apart. Find a generous bend in your knees here. Option to grab opposite elbows with opposite hands and find a gentle sway side to side. Feel this release from your neck. Let your head hang heavy. When you're ready, bring your fingertips down to the mat and toe heel your feet together to touch. Ground your left palm down on the mat right below your chin and extend your right arm up towards the sky. Take your gaze up. Begin to straighten through your right leg as you bend into your left. Option to roll out through that top wrist. Begin to bring your right palm back down to the mat. As you ground that right palm down, extend your left arm up towards the sky and begin to straighten through your left leg as you bend into your right knee. An option to roll out through that left wrist. Bring your left palm back down onto the mat. And then as you inhale, slowly rise up to stand, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let your head and neck be the last to arrive. When you arrive to stand, mountain pose, bringing your hands alongside you, palms face forward. Option to bring your hands through heart center. And just taking a moment to be in this pose. Feel all four corners root down into your mat. Feel that grounding energy moving from the soles of your feet through the crown of your head. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands back through heart center. Gathering up energy, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, find a baby back bend, cactus your arms as you shine your heart forward. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge from your waist and fold in half. On an inhale, find a halfway lift, bring your fingertips to your shins or thighs. And as you exhale, palm your mat and step back into plank pose. Gaze between your palms, stack your shoulders over your wrists. And then begin to step your right foot forward between your hands. Option to grab hold of your ankle to get it there. Low lunge. Begin finding some small movements forward and back, working into that left hip flexor. Drop your back knee down on the mat, untuck your toes, and lift your torso up. Kneeling crescent lunge. Make sure that your right knee stays stacked above your right ankle as you reach your arms up overhead, and then maybe begin to melt your hips down more towards the earth. Begin to straighten through your right leg as you shift your hips back, bringing your fingertips down for half splits. Finding this hinge from your hips as you reach the crown of your head forward. Big hamstring stretch. Option to stay as bent into that right leg as needed as you begin to fold forward. Begin to bend back into your right knee And then ground your left palm down onto your mat by your right big toe as you reach your right arm up towards the sky. Low lunge twist. Option to tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee up off of the mat. Plant your right palm back down on the earth to frame your right foot, and then take a big step forward with your left foot towards the front of your mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, bring your fingertips to your shins or thighs. Exhale, fold deeper. As you inhale, rise up to stand, mountain pose, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, find that baby back bend, cactus your arms, send your heart forward. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold, hinge from your hips, fold in half. Plant your palms on the mat and step your feet back into plank pose, tucking your shoulders over your wrists. Step your left foot between your hands, low lunge, finding small movements forward and back, just working into that right hip flexor this time. Drop your back knee down on the mat, untuck your toes, and lift your torso up, kneeling crescent lunge. Make sure that that left knee is stacked directly above your left ankle as you lift your arms up, overhead, and then maybe begin to melt your hips down more towards your mat. Begin to straighten through your left leg as you shift your hips back, bringing your hands down on your mat to frame your left leg. Coming into your half splits, hinge from your hips, and reach the crown of your head towards your toes. Know that you can always keep that left knee as bent as needed here. Begin to bend back into that left knee and plant your right palm down on your mat as you reach your left arm up towards the sky, low lunge twist. Option to tuck your back toes under and pick that back knee up off of the mat. Begin to place your left hand back down onto the earth, framing your foot. Step your left foot back into high plank and lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes. Place your palms underneath your shoulders. Zip your elbows in towards your ribs. And push your pubic bone into the earth to gently lift your chest. Cobra pose. Keeping barely any weight in your hands here. Maybe see if you can lift all 10 fingers off of the earth, hovering here. Take one more round of breath. Release. Bring your palms back underneath your shoulders, coming through tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. On an inhale, take your gaze forward. Exhale, walk your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Begin to turn your heels in, toes out. Your toes will hang off of your mat a little bit, setting up for our yogi squat. So option 2, just bring your fingertips down onto the earth, staying with your hips up a little bit high, or maybe begin to sink those hips down. Option to bring your hands through heart center, pushing those elbows into your inner thighs to really open through your hips. Maybe you find stillness in this pose, or option to find some movement, shifting your weight from one foot to the other. Continue to stay connected to your breath through this pose. Bring your palms back down to your mat as you lift your hips up. Toe heel your feet together to touch, coming into forward fold. On an inhale, halfway lift, bring your fingertips to your shins or thighs, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Firmly press your palms into your mat as you step your feet back into plank pose, then scoop your tailbone up into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high into three-legged dog. Try to ground your left heel down on the earth and firmly press your weight evenly into both palms. Maybe you stay here with your leg extended, or option to find scorpion dog. Bend into that right knee, stack your hips, opening up through that right hip flexor. Option to begin to draw circles with your knee to the right. and then reverse your circle to the left. Begin to straighten your right leg back into three-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, half pigeon, bring your right knee behind your right wrist as you extend your left leg out long behind you. Come up high on your fingertips at first. Lift your chest. Feel this sensation through your right outer hip. And then option 2, bring your forearms down onto your mat to rest your forehead down for sleeping pigeon. Breathe into that release through your right outer hip. We'll be here for about 8 rounds of breath, so really settle into this pose. Allow yourself to let go. Begin to press your palms into the earth as you lift your chest up. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your right leg back up into three-legged dog. Maybe you stay here today, or if you'd like to flip your dog, bend into your right knee and look under your left armpit until you can see your right foot, and then gently place that right foot down onto the earth as you reach your right arm up and over. Big heart opener here. If you are in your flip dog, begin to make your way back into three-legged dog, placing both palms onto the earth. Lift your right leg high, then make your way into downward facing dog. Other side, extend your left leg high, three-legged dog. Try to ground your right heel down on the earth this time and make sure that your weight is evenly distributed between both hands. Maybe you stay here today in your three-legged dog, or option 2, bend into that left knee, finding your scorpion dog. Drawing circles with your knee to the right, and then reverse your circle to the left. Begin to extend your left leg long, three-legged dog, and make your way into half pigeon. Bring your left knee behind your left wrist as you extend your right leg out long behind you. Come up high onto your fingertips at first. Feel that opening through your left outer hip. Staying high on your fingertips at first, and then maybe bring your forearms to rest down on your mat as you bring your forehead down into sleeping pigeon. We'll be here for 8 deep, cleansing rounds of breath. Begin to push your palms into the earth as you lift your torso up. Tuck your back toes under. Come into three-legged dog. Extend your left leg high. Now maybe you stay here today, or option 2, flip your dog as you bend into your left knee. Look under your right armpit until you can see your left foot, and then gently place it down on the earth as you reach that left arm up and over. Open up through that heart space. If you are in your flip dog, safely make your way back into three-legged dog. Extend that left leg high, and then come into your downward facing dog. Drop your knees down onto your mat, coming into tabletop pose. Begin to walk your palms out towards the front of your space as you melt your heart down towards your mat. For puppy pose, keep your hips above your knees and reach your fingertips forward. Option 2, rest your forehead down on your mat, or maybe for a bit more of an opening, to bring your chin to rest on the mat. Take 2 rounds of breath here. When you're ready, push your palms into the earth as you come back through tabletop pose, then making your way over into a seat, So coming to sit on your bottom, extend your legs out long in front of you, setting up for seated forward fold. On an inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from your waist, grabbing hold of either your shins, your ankles, or your feet. Keeping your knees as bent as needed here. Another option is to reach your arms underneath your thighs, grabbing hold of opposite leg with opposite hand, and then trying to rest your belly onto the tops of your thighs. Continue to breathe deeply for 2 more rounds of breath. If you had that bind around your legs, begin to release and lift your torso up, and then make your way onto your back. So coming to lie down onto your spine, keep a bend in your knees and draw your heels in towards your glutes until your fingertips can brush them. As you inhale in, exhale, begin to peel your hips up off of the earth. Shift the weight back slightly into your shoulders, tuck your chin, and really push the soles of your feet down into the earth to lift your hips up. Continue to breathe here in your bridge pose. Begin to slowly lower your spine back down to the earth, vertebrae by vertebrae. When you arrive, draw your knees in towards your chest and find a gentle rock side to side, massaging your lower back on your mat. Begin to straighten out your legs, extending your feet up towards the sky, legs up the wall. Try to ground your lower back down into the mat. Allow your feet to be above your heart here. Begin to draw your knees back into your chest. Extend your left leg long and keep that right knee drawn in. As you inhale in, exhale, find a spinal twist. Draw your right knee across your body towards your left side as you take your gaze over to your right. You can cactus out that right arm or extend your right arm straight. We'll be here for 4 rounds of breath. Try to keep your right shoulder glued onto your mat to intensify this twist. Begin to make your way back to center. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Extend your right leg long this time as you keep that left knee drawn in. Inhale. Exhale, spinal twist towards the right. Draw your left knee across your body towards your right side as you take your gaze over to the left. Taking 4 deep rounds of breath in this twist, trying to keep that left shoulder glued onto your mat this time. Begin to make your way back to center. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. Inhale. As you exhale, find reclined butterfly pose. Bring your soles of your feet together to touch as you let your knees fall out wide. Place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your belly as you close off your eyes and begin to just be in this pose. Feel your heartbeat and feel the rise and fall of your belly with each inhale and each exhale. When you're ready, draw your knees back into your chest. Inhale in. As you exhale, happy baby pose. Grab hold of your feet with your hands. As you bend into your knees, send your knees towards your armpits. Maybe find a gentle rock side to side. Option to straighten through one leg and then maybe the other. Draw your knees in toward your chest one last time. Give yourself the tightest hug yet. Hug everything in. Inhale. Exhale. Savasana, final resting pose. Come to lie flat on your back. Let your feet fall out. Take up space. Let your palms fall open. Close off your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax the space between your eyebrows. Relax your fingers, your toes. Allow every joint to get very heavy. Give yourself this time of restorative rest, and I'll call you out when it is time. You are welcome to stay here in this pose for as long as serves you. If you're ready to go on with the rest of your day, begin making some small movements with your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up above your head for a full body stretch. Draw your knees in toward your chest. Rock side to side, massaging your lower back. And when you're ready, roll over onto one side, using your bicep as a pillow. And then pushing yourself up to a comfortable seat on your mat. Option to keep your eyes closed here as we seal our practice together today. Bring your hands together in prayer at your heart center as we seal our practice together. Thank you so much for showing up on your mat today and allowing me to guide you through this practice. The highest in me honors and sees the highest in each and every one of you. As you bring your thumbs to your third eye center, we bow together with gratitude. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today. Have a lovely rest of your day.